In his demise, the institution of Parliament, and indeed the whole nation, has lost a devoted legislator, servant of the people, a problem solver, a mentor, an advocate for justice, and above all, a paragon of courage. On behalf of the House, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and on my own behalf, I convey our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the late Ngeno and the 5 individuals who also lost their lives alongside him. Honorable members, in order to accord a befitting send-off to our departed colleague and the 5 other victims, I have constituted an ad hoc committee of Parliament to plan the funeral and coordinate the arrangements. The committee comprises the following members: Honorable Julius Meli, CBS MP, Chairperson and Team Leader; Honorable Mugambi Rindikiri, CBS MP, Vice Chairperson; Honorable Julius Sunguli, GHMP; Honorable Oscar Sude MP; Honorable Brighton Yegon, CBS MP; Honorable Engineer Mark Nyamita MP; Honorable Gadoni Wamshomba, HSC MP; Honorable Kitilai Olenduto MP; Honorable Rebecca Tonke MP; Honorable Kakai Bisau MP; Honorable Joseph Cherorot MP; Honorable Victor Koech MP, and in consultation with the Speaker of the Senate, we have the following 3 senators in the committee: the Honorable Senator Wafula Wakoli, CBS MP; Senator Hilary Sigei, CBS MP; and Senator Eddie Okech MP. Honorable members, to celebrate the life and legacy of the late Honorable Ngeno, a requiem service will be held tomorrow, Wednesday, 4th March 2026, at the African Gospel Church, AGC Karen, starting at, I thought it was 9 a.m. Has it been changed? Starting 9 a.m., not 11 as is written here. And in fact, members, I encourage you, if you pass the motion that is coming not to sit tomorrow, those of us who want to be in that requiem mass be seated at this church by 8:30 so that we are able to start the program by 9 to finish in time to come back for the afternoon sitting. Thereafter, after the service, bodies of the late Ngeno and the 5 other victims will be transported to Narok on Thursday, 5th March 2026 for a service at Emurua Dikiri Primary School, Narok County. This will be followed by the funeral service and interment at his rural home in Emurua Dikiri on Friday, 6th March 2026. Consequently, honorable members, this afternoon the House Business Committee has resolved to suspend business for the morning sitting of Wednesday, 4th March 2026 to allow members to attend the requiem service. You will indeed be aware by now that a supplementary order paper has been published to facilitate a motion to suspend the sitting for tomorrow morning. Finally, honorable members, permit me to record the thanks of the House to the County Government of Narok, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Government, and to all those who went above and beyond the call of duty to facilitate airlifting of the bodies of the deceased from Nandi to Nairobi. I also thank honorable members who have visited and continue to condole and fellowship with the family and friends of the late Honorable Ngeno. Honorable members, this morning I visited the home with a team of about 25 members to condole with the family, and it does happen that the father-in-law of the Honorable Ngeno is one of our former colleagues, the Honorable Stephen Olendutu, who served with me in this House and in the first Senate after the 2010 Constitution, and is also a brother to one of our colleagues, Sekilai Olendutu. Honorable members, in honor of our departed colleague, the Honorable Jonathan Ngeno Kipyegon, CBS MP, and those who perished alongside him, I request that we all be upstanding and observe a moment of silence. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. I thank you. Go back to order number 8.
Order number 8, procedural motion. Resolution not to hold a Wednesday morning sitting.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 30, and in honor of the late member for Emurua Dikir constituency, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, CBS MP, and the other 5 distinguished Kenyans who lost their lives alongside him through a tragic helicopter accident on Saturday, 28 February 2026. This House resolves that 1, not to hold a morning sitting on Wednesday, 4th March 2026, so as to accord the House the opportunity to attend the Requiem service for the departed distinguished Kenyans, and 2, to resume sittings on the afternoon of Wednesday, 4th March 2026. Honorable Speaker, this is just a procedural motion I've just communicated in your communication to allow members to attend the Requiem service tomorrow at AGC Karen. As you have communicated, Honorable Speaker, in your communication, beginning 9, or rather we are all expected to be seated at the service in church at 8:30 so that the service can begin at 9. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it will not be possible for us to be able to split ourselves, some to be at the service and others to be sitting here. And the House Business Committee resolved that we have this procedural motion not to have a sitting in the morning and to resume at 2:30 after the Requiem service, so that we may have time to pray with the family and also to eulogize our departed colleague and the other 5 passengers of that ill-fated chopper. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. And as I move, Honorable Speaker, just in the interest of time, because I am almost certain you will allow the House some time to send our condolences. Allow me to use this opportunity to convey my very deep condolences to the family of Johanna Ngeno, the wife, the children, and his entire family in Emurua Dikir, and also the family, as you indicated.
Are you signing away your right to speak after this motion?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I thought I could do that now.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, as you have also indicated, our colleague Ntutu, Kitilai, and the entire Ntutu family, who are in-laws to Honorable Ngeno, to convey on my own behalf, on behalf of my family and the people of Kikuyu, and indeed the entire House, Honorable Speaker, our very deep condolences to Honorable Ngeno's family and the families of the other departed passengers who are with him, including Captain Were. Honorable Speaker, Captain Were is someone I knew very well, and I've flown with him. And Honorable Speaker, even yourself, you remember, only a week ago, the other weekend, I was somewhere with you. And you flew back, you flew from where we were to Western Kenya with Captain Were. And Captain Were was a very experienced captain, someone who served in armed forces, left the armed forces and get into civilian aviation, and has done very well in his career, and was a very careful and dedicated officer in his service as a captain. Honorable Speaker, one of the other gentlemen, the teacher Carlos, who is fondly referred to as Mwalimu Carlos, his name is Keter. I knew Mwalimu Carlos in 2016, 2017. Honorable Speaker, I was together with the Senate Leader of Majority in the 2017 campaigns. We were designated by the then president to go and campaign in Narok County. And I spent a lot of time in Emurua Dikir. And Carlos is a gentleman because he was the campaign manager for the man who was running against Johanna Ngeno, who was organizing all our rallies in Emurua Dikir, wherever we went there. And we put up a spirited campaign, but Johanna Ngeno put a very strong defense. And even with the Jubilee wave in 2017, Johanna Ngeno on a KANU ticket trounced us, and we lost that election. And I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, because Carlos was the one who was running the campaign of the other Keter who was running against Johanna in 2017. And as fate would have it, years later, Carlos made up with Johanna, and that speaks to the person that Johanna Ngeno was. He held no grudges against anybody. They made up, and in fact, Honorable Speaker, I dare say that Carlos was recently recruited by TSC, and the Member of Parliament for Emurua Dikir, Honorable Johanna Ngeno, had a big hand in helping him to get recruited by TSC as a teacher. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I am speaking of people I know in person, the Honorable Ngeno, Captain Were, Mwalimu Carlos, Keter, fine gentlemen whom we have lost. And it's indeed very sad for all the families. And I convey my condolences to all of them, all the 6 families who have lost loved ones. Honorable Speaker, Johanna Ngeno, as I said, we campaigned against him in 2017. And I remember, and I was sharing with at his home yesterday, when he came back to this house in after the 2017 elections, we were friends because we joined this house together in 2013, and we continued with our friendship. And I remember challenging him and telling him, the only reason why I campaigned against you were 2 reasons. 1, because you are still single. 2, and you have the energy to fight. 2, because you are on another party against Jubilee.
Order. The member, is it from Isiolo? Walk to the bar and do what is necessary. Even in the middle of excitement, don't violate House rules.
Honorable Speaker, you must forgive Honorable Momina. She crossed the floor in excitement. You know, she just delivered a seat to UDA in Isiolo South, together with the other members for Isiolo. So she's very excited. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, Honorable Ngeno, as I said of him, never held grudges against anybody. And I remember when we came back after the 2017 elections, we, together with a few colleagues, including my good friend here, Honorable Nelson Koech, we told Honorable Ngeno, you have completed 1 term of parliament as a bachelor. You cannot continue being a bachelor. And he told us, watch this space. And I'm glad that within the last parliament, the Honorable Ngeno found a good wife and married the love of his life. Is a widow now, Naina Ntutu, and Honorable Nelson Ngeno, Nelson Koech, whom we had challenged Ngeno with, was the best man in that wedding. It's sad, Honorable Speaker, that now the widow and the children are left without a father and a husband, and the people of Emurua Dikir have been left without a very dedicated leader. A person who would go to any length to fight for his people, defend their rights, and more importantly, to make sure that he delivers for them as a member of parliament in terms of development. And Honorable Ngeno has done exemplary well. For those who had been to Emurua Dikir when it was the larger Kilgoris, and the member for Kilgoris will bear me witness. Before that constituency was split between Kilgoris and Emurua Dikir. It was a very large constituency, and therefore previous members of parliament had a difficulty trying to develop the entire constituency as it were. But Honorable Ngeno has done exemplary well as a member of parliament in his 3 terms as parliament. And I say that because I was in Emurua Dikir late last year at the invitation of Ngeno for his bursary award program, and as he handed over a number of school buses to schools. And the people of Emurua Dikir were very proud of the performance of their member of parliament and the strong defender of their rights that he was. This House, Honorable Speaker, the people of Emurua Dikir, his family, and indeed the entire country is poorer without Honorable Ngeno in our midst, and we will celebrate his life as we mourn him. And I want to pray, Honorable Speaker, that as we mourn Honorable Ngeno, Ngeno was a peacemaker. And Ngeno had never in any way entertained ethnicity. And I remember, Honorable Speaker, and you'll see even in his clips, I was watching a number of his clips, and everywhere he spoke against ethnicity. And he was a unifying leader. I pray, Honorable Speaker, that as we mourn him and as we lay him to rest towards the end of this week, we will emulate Honorable Ngeno in his standing as a leader, in his unifying character, and more importantly, Honorable Speaker, that we all remember the families, not just of Honorable Ngeno, that of Were, Carlos, and the other departed compatriots and countrymen who lost their lives on Saturday evening, Honorable Speaker. And in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, let us also mourn and celebrate their lives, bearing in mind that they have families that are hurting. And I say this, Speaker, because I know I just lost a relative a year ago, last year, some months ago. I know what it feels, and many of you know, those of you who have lost relatives. It is unfair and rather callous for any one of us who purports to be a leader to be using the death of any Kenyan for political gain. And I say this, Honorable Speaker, because I saw the pain of the family, of the widow, of Ngeno's relatives, and those of Carlos and others, having to learn of his passing on from a careless statement by a leader at a political rally in Nyahururu. Honorable Speaker, it's not just shameful, it's so callous of any leader, even before the immediate family gets to know of the loss of a loved one. You are there in a political rally announcing their death. It's shameful, Honorable Speaker. And how I wish, and I described people here, Honorable Speaker, 2 years ago, saying there was a dark man with a very black hat. I am vindicated, Honorable Speaker. I am vindicated. This is a dark man with a very black and dark heart and soul. Somebody who has no feeling, no respect for family, no respect for anybody. Somebody who scavenged on anything, including death, to try and drive or get some political capital. Shame on you. That you should use the departure of one of us to do your cheap ethnic-based politics, or even imagine that you can incite one sub-tribe against another or one community against another. Honorable Speaker, I say that because it was really hurting. Honorable Speaker, you were at Ngeno's house this morning. You saw how distraught that family is. It's sad that somebody who purports to be a leader, and I don't know of what because he leads nothing, can use such an opportunity to be seen like you are celebrating the passing on of another human being. That is what a man with a black heart does. That is what those with dark souls do. And I'll say shame on to them as we mourn our colleague and the 5 other Kenyans who lost their lives, including our friend Captain Were, who I have said, Honorable Speaker, was a very dedicated captain, very careful, and let us not speculate on the cause of the death or the accident. Let us allow the air traffic accident investigators to do their work. But also, let us also exercise caution wherever we are moving on the roads, the air, and be aware of our surroundings, including the weather patterns, especially around this rainy season. Honorable Speaker, allow me to end it there, and I beg to move. And may the souls of our departed colleague and the 5 other passengers rest in eternal peace. And may God Almighty give comfort to their families and rest their souls in eternal peace for those who have left us. I beg to move and request the Honorable Osoro to second.
Osoro.
And he may also use his time like mine.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Much less time, 3 minutes.
I will try, Honorable Speaker. I want to sign off my rights also to speak after this motion is passed, and use this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to also condole with the families of the departed souls of our great Kenyans, from our colleague, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, and the 5 that were with him. Honorable Speaker, the 6 that left us, and like we say, went to be with the Lord, at least out of the 6, 3 are known to me personally. And one, I would start, Honorable Speaker, with the young man who is a cameraman by the name Nick. In several occasions, Honorable Speaker, we've shared platforms with the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, and at times when I don't tag along with my cameraman, we use Nick to take us photos across, of course, and share with us, Honorable Speaker. And on that particular day, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno had actually asked my cameraman to accompany him to an event, but it happened that my cameraman was in Kisii, and he had to maneuver away to carry his. So the young man is well known to me, and it's very, very sad. I say that his soul rests in peace. Honorable Speaker, I'm also known, the late George Were is also well known to me. He's flown me on several occasions. In fact, in the very last event that we shared with the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, Honorable Speaker, I flew with the Honorable Meli from my constituency, because Emuru Adikri, Honorable Speaker, is just one constituency away from mine. It is South Mogrango, then Kilgoris, where the Honorable Sunkuli comes from, and then Emuru Adikri, Honorable Speaker. And so we are too close. When you fly from my constituency to his place, it's just about 6 minutes flight to get to his place. Honorable Speaker, George has flown several of us, and it's quite sad that at the tail end of his career, even as he sought to retire completely, he passed on in that cruel manner. May his soul rest in peace. But finally, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno. Many things will be said about Johanna Ngeno, like you would hear several members say. But there is one thing, Honorable Speaker, that stands out about Johanna Ngeno, his courage and his stand for social justice. Honorable Speaker, you've heard a story that the Honorable Nelson Koech was his best man in his wedding in 2018. But I would say, Honorable Speaker, that when we go to this house, and in the discussion about the leadership of this house, when we had a discussion in Naivasha about the leadership of this house, it happened that Nelson Koech was meant to sit on this seat that I'm sitting, Honorable Speaker. And there was a discussion on mamas across, within the sectors of the political spectrum, Honorable Speaker, in Naivasha. But the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, Honorable Speaker, even having known that Nelson Koech was his best man, came to me and told me, I stand for social justice, and I want you to take over this seat and not Nelson Koech, Honorable Speaker. And that is why today I'm here. We would eventually become very close friends, and myself, the Honorable Owen Bayer, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno formed a group together of couples that we could visit each other often, Honorable Speaker. And it's quite sad today that we mourn a great man that has been fighting for social justice across, and he's died, he's gone, Honorable Speaker, at the point of his, passion, where he stood for the young people who are, using their talent to do several things and to, for social capital. For economic value, using their talent. He's been traversing across the Rift Valley, Honorable Speaker, and even Gusii region, Honorable Speaker, supporting artists. We have lost a great man, and looking at the mood of this House, Honorable Speaker, it goes without saying that the Honorable Ngeno really invested in social capital. That is why you see several members really pained and touched by his demise. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of South Mogrango, on behalf of my family, on behalf of this House and the entire country, I want to convey my deepest condolences and say, may the Honorable Ngeno's soul rest in eternal peace, and I beg to second, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that, pursuant the provisions of Standing Order 30 and in honor of the late member for Emurua Digiri constituency, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, CBS MP, and the 5 distinguished Kenyans who died alongside him through a tragic helicopter accident on Saturday, 28 February 2026, this House resolves, 1, not to hold a morning sitting on Wednesday, 4th March 2026, so as to accord the House the opportunity to attend the requiem service for the departed distinguished Kenyans, and 2, to resume sittings on the afternoon of Wednesday, 4th March 2026. We put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that pursuant the provisions of Standing Order 30, and in honor of the late member for Emurua Digiri constituency, the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, CBS MP, and the 5 distinguished Kenyans who died alongside him through a tragic helicopter accident on Saturday, 28 February 2026, this House resolves, 1, not to hold a morning sitting on Wednesday, 4th March 2026, so as to accord the House the opportunity to attend the requiem service for the departed distinguished Kenyans, and 2, to resume sittings on the afternoon of Wednesday, 4th March 2026. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members will then allow you to eulogize the late Ngeno and his colleagues who perished with him. The House Business Committee had indicated that we give you 2 minutes each, if no 3, because I want to assign this to 1 hour and 5 minutes ending at 4:30. Bukose, 2 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I stand to send my condolences to the people of Emurua Tigir, having been with the Honorable Johanna Ngeno in Endebess just before the tragic accident. Honorable Speaker, it is still a very sad memory to me that the Honorable member came to my place, and I've been accompanying him in this journey of supporting talents, especially in the North Rift region, Mount Elgon, and all the way to Uganda. Whenever he comes, normally we plan on him not going back. I even get a court to slaughter, and then he can at least spend around. But this time, things took the worst of the turn as it happened. I have no words to say, Honorable Speaker, but what I would only say is that Honorable Ngeno was a great man. He supported people without discrimination. He supported very low people, especially our artists. And he gave his, and even in his life, I think he gave it to these artists as he came to support Kim, who is my constituent, where we were able to raise some money to support him. And really, still a very sad day. I'm still in shock for what happened, having been a very close person to me. May his soul rest in eternal peace until we meet again. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On my own behalf and on behalf of my family and the constituents of Kadiani, I also rise to give my condolences to the family, friends, constituents of Emurua Dikir of the late Johanna Ngeno. Mr. Speaker, Johanna Ngeno was a fine gentleman, and I was privileged to have served with him for 3 consecutive terms in this parliament. Fiery politician, very strong defender of the people, and many times we've seen him even confronting the police when they seemed to be harassing and hurting the people that he represents. So this country has lost a great leader, Mr. Speaker, and it is quite a sad moment. I just want to urge that as this very painful time passes, that those that are involved in making sure that they investigate these accidents do it in a quick manner so that we can allay any fears or any possibility of mischief. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the majority leader when he was moving the previous motion, when he said that we have to be very careful not to politicize such issues. But Mr. Speaker, it was also shocking to listen to the majority leader himself, because he spent a lot of time demonizing the second deputy president. He spent almost all his time calling him a black man, a man with a black hat. I mean, that also was also politicizing these situations. I think it is, you know, what is good for the goose is good for the gander, and he has to be careful that he also doesn't use the privilege of the House to malign other people's names. Otherwise, with those few remarks, may the soul of Joanna Ngeno rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to eulogize our chairman and our colleague. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Laikipia County and on behalf of my family, I stand to give my condolences to the families of the 6 departed souls. And Honorable Speaker, I would say of the 6 people, the 3 were known to me. One is Honorable Ngeno, who was my chairperson of Housing Committee, a great man who always brought us together. Honorable Speaker, it's interesting that last week after our committee meeting, for the first time in the 3 years we've been together, we decided to sit together in Honorable Kimilu's office and plan about our committee, and we shared a good laugh. Little did we know that that was going to be our last meeting together with our chairperson. Honorable Speaker, the week before, Captain Were came to Laikipia, and he had a chat with my son, where my son told him he wants to become a pilot, and he told him he has to always finish his homework. Honorable Speaker, it is with a lot of grief that we mourn our chairperson, Honorable Ngeno, and we say may his soul rest in eternal peace, and may the souls of the other 5 departed Kenyans also rest in peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Sunguli.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of myself and the people of Kilgoris constituency, I wish to eulogize Johanna Ngeno, the MP for Murwadikir, who has just left us. Johanna was my constituent for a long time when I was a member of parliament. That constituency that is called Murwadikir was part of Kilgoris. And we have lived together in politics. He was at some point my competitor. At some other point, we were together. But one thing I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, is that he was a man of courage and was a man who stood by his word. Johanna has left a big mark in his constituency, because the identity of Murwadikir is actually the identity of Johanna Ngeno. He is the one who was one of the first. He was actually the first member of parliament for that area. And he has put his foot and imprint on that constituency. I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that this week we are going to bury a great friend of mine. We were competitors often, but we always competed in dignity. We always competed well and retained our friendship. Of late, we had even more common grounds because he defended the things I defended and was angry when I was angry. On Friday, we are going to bury him, and I want to urge members of parliament to come in big numbers. The place is quite accessible, and you could all come to Kilgoris and then go to Murwadikir. But may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Hillary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join the House on behalf of the people of Kipkelian West constituency to send my condolences on the fall of this great man, Mr. Speaker. I first knew Johanna Ngeno way before 2007, when as young men we were mentored together into politics under the mentorship of the late Kipkalia Kones. And I know, Mr. Speaker, there is a dark cloud of sorrow and mourning among the Kipsigis community, Mr. Speaker, because this is not the only plane crash that has taken their sons. The Honorable Kipkalia Kones and the Honorable Lona Laboso also lost their lives in a plane crash, Mr. Speaker. And we want to urge the people of Emurua Dikir to be patient, to be calm, and to mourn their departed leader in peace, Mr. Speaker. Johanna Ngeno, Mr. Speaker, cannot be described in 2 minutes. He was a passionate believer and a defender of the people of Emurua Dikir, the people of the Kipsigis community, the Kalenjin nation, and the people of Kenya at large, Mr. Speaker. His passing on leaves a very big void in our leadership. And I want to urge our community to be calm and to assure them that we shall rise again out of the ashes of the death of the Honorable Johanna Ngeno. And finally, Mr. Speaker, is to ask and request the government to implement all the